Tonight, Governor Yaya Bello of Kogi State seeks federal government intervention as flood continues to ravage at least 9 local government areas of the state. In Nasarawa, Governor Abdullahi Sule visits 4 local government areas where farmlands have been submerged and thousands of residents displaced from the ravaging flood. Ex-militant leader, Government Ekpemupolo, popularly known as Topolo, says 58 illegal oil blocks have been so far discovered following the joint efforts between security agents and other stakeholders in the Niger Delta region. And Russian President Vladimir Putin accuses Ukraine of terrorism for attacking the Russian-annexed Crimea Bridge. Well, tonight, Kogi State Governor Yaya Bello is calling on the federal government to support the state's efforts in mitigating the effect of the flood disaster, which has ravaged 9 local government areas of the state, rendering several residents homeless. Well, Governor Bello made the plea when he received his Kogi State counterpart, Atiku Bagudu, who was at the government house in Lokoja, the state capital, on a sympathy visit over the ravaging flood.
Motorists and commuters are passing through tough times in Kogi State as the ever-busy Lokoja Cotton Cafe Abuja Road remains blocked as a result of the flood that submerged parts of the road in Cotton Cafe access, causing heavy gridlock. Heavy-duty vehicles such as trailers, petrol tankers heading to Abuja and other northern parts of the country, and the ones heading to the east and southern parts, have been static on this road for 3 weeks as people now resort to the use of motorcycle from Lokoja to Cotton Cafe. Those trapped in the gridlock are appealing to the federal government to be proactive in dredging River Niger in order to reduce the perennial flooding along the federal road.
Because of this flood, there's no vehicular movement. We've been stranded here for more than 5 days now. The government should be dredging this River Niger at least once in 2 years. If that is done, the issue of flood will be a story of bygone.
And secondly, that you do something about the roads, especially these small bridges. That you maintain them, put them in order.
This portion of the road at Cotton Cafe remains submerged and now in a terrible situation, which is the reason for the gridlock. Tankers loaded with petrol are trapped on the road, causing fuel scarcity in Kogi, Abuja, and some other northern states. The governor of Kogi State visits Government House Lokoja, the state capital, to condole with Governor Yaya Bello with a donation of 50 million naira.
I'm sure we will pull through this, but we need to support each other, and that is why he came first to encourage and to show solidarity, and to also report back to the Food Security Council what we think can be done immediately the water begin to recede.
Governor Bello appreciates him for the donation as he narrates the devastation the flood has caused the people of the state. He equally appeals to President Muhammadu Buhari to declare a state of emergency in states that are badly affected by the flood.
Their houses are endangered. These are people that are originally found themselves where they are. Sometimes relocating them can be very difficult. But relocating them requires a lot of resources. And here we are in Kogi State managing the little we can generate and the envelope we collect from the Federation account. Excellency, we need serious assistance and help from federal government and from all other donor agencies and even my colleague governors. I want to appreciate you for the wonderful donation of 50 million naira to these our people.
For now, vehicular movement at Cotton Cafe is at snail speed as the people remain optimistic that the federal government will urgently come to their aid.
Meanwhile, residents of 4 local government areas in Nasarawa State have also been rendered homeless as flood continues to ravage parts of the state, destroying farmlands and property. The Nasarawa State Governor, Abdullahi Sule, who visited the affected communities, also donated relief materials on behalf of the state and federal government with a promise to continue to support the victims. Our correspondent Halima Gayam has a report.
Farmlands, including that of Nigeria's single largest rice farm, submerged in Nasarawa State, north-central Nigeria, as the impact of climate change continues to ravage some states. Thousands of metric tons of rice expected from Olam farms and surrounding communities in Doma local government area of the state still under the waters, which is yet to recede. Houses and properties are destroyed. Thousands of people forced out of their homes.
In the 2 wards of Doma South constituency of Doma local government, Akwanaja and Rukubi wards are affected 18 communities. And in Doma North, it's affected in 1 ward 3 communities, Your Excellency. Altogether, we have 21 communities in Doma local government. I want to assure you, not single life was lost.
The vastness of the land that our people have cultivated, Your Excellency, over 7,000 hectares of land have survived. Your Excellency, over 18 villages have been dislocated. And all of our people in those locations are in the IDP. Your Excellency, we are pleased with this show of brotherhood and sense of duty that you abandon every responsibility to want to visit those locations and see for yourself. And not just coming to see us, they're coming prepared to provide needed support.
Governor Abdullahi Soleh is visiting the affected communities with a message of hope as he donates relief materials from the state and the federal government.
We've been able to buy, to bring in some mattresses, some mosquito nets, because of most of them are outside right now. You know, a couple of food items that we have brought for them, some clothing that are sent in clothing both for children, for women, and as well as for the men. So we put everything together, and I make sure the vehicle arrived before I arrive.
The people are appreciative but appeal for more support.
Considering the high level of destruction and number of houses and farmlands which were washed away along with farm produce, I wish to entreat with His Excellency to kindly come to the rescue of the said victims. Their losses are much. Supporting them will by no small measure bring them back to life and further strengthen their confidence.
Tunga, Loko, Rukubi and Umuasha in 4 local government areas of Away, Nasarawa, Doma and Toto are among the worst hit communities in the state, but the government remains committed to alleviating the sufferings of affected residents. Halima Gayam, Channels Television News.
Country, the Ogun State government says residents of Isheri, Akute and other areas that are in lowlands of the state should not entertain any fear of impending flood as a result of a release of excess water from the Ogun Dam. The State Commissioner for Environment, Ola Oresoya, gave the assurance after inspecting the integrity and management strategy of the dam at its operational site in Abeokuta North area of the state. Mr. Oresoya, however, advised residents of the area to reduce all human activities on river tributaries near them and stop dumping waste into drainage channels.
The border towns where we have Wariwa, Isheri, Kara, and Co. Yes, whatever impact will be coming this year will be coming from the tidal lock. They are very close to the lagoon out there. And we already have a sea rise. The spill, if you ever have any spill there, it's not from Ogun Dam. You can see out of 4 gates here, it's only 2 that they open. The water level here is at about 56, so it's not even threatening. The dam is even looking at how to accommodate more water for irrigation. So they are not even anxious of any release. They are actually looking for more water to accommodate for the rainy season. They are concerned they may not have enough water for the dry season. So it's not Ogun Dam. We shouldn't shout Ogun Dam. We'll look at the tidal, at the high tide. So the water will retain. You know, the tidal variation comes almost on daily basis. You have a high rise and you have the low rise. So the tidal levels and the Atlantic Ocean right now goes to, or can rise almost like about 0.5, 0.6 meters overnight. And you have this spill. And in the afternoon, you just see going down. So most of the areas around Wariwa, Isheri and Co, you will see that it's going to be a daytime fluctuation. In the morning, you can see the water. In the afternoon, it will go down because the tidal level will descend and the water will go.
Well, away from the flood, it's a sad weekend for the people of Oboloafo community in Odeno local government area of Enugu State following the death of 5 persons, a mother, her 2 children and her 2 sisters in mysterious circumstances. The victims who were found dead in their apartment have been identified as Chinyere Odo and her 2 children aged 7 and 4. The 2 others are Martina Ezeme and Ngozi Ezeme, who are both Mrs. Odo's sisters. The police spokesperson in the state, Daniel Ndukwe, in a statement says the incident was reported to the police at about 9:25 a.m. on Saturday. Mr. Ndukwe explains that preliminary investigations revealed that the victims went to bed the previous night but did not wake the following morning. He says investigations have commenced to unravel the circumstance surrounding their death. And in continuation of a series of reports on crude oil thefts in the country, ex-militant leader, Government Ekpemopolo, also known as Tompolo, says about 58 illegal oil blocks have so far been discovered since the operation to end oil theft on the waterways of Delta and Bayelsa states began. Tompolo disclosed this while speaking to journalists on the update of the recent discovery of a 4-kilometer illegal crude oil pipeline in Forcados area of Delta State.
Points that have been tapped, both Delta and Bayelsa. We are doing this work together with the security agents. We are only providing the intelligence for the security people to assist to do the work. So everybody, both NNPC and everybody, I think we are working together in a very good spirit now. Our major problem is the area. The aquatic life of the area is gone. So we are doing everything within our powers together with the traditional rulers and everybody to see that with the help of the Nigeria Navy, Army, DSS and everybody to reduce this thing to a barest minimum where our people can survive after this time.
We'll bring you more on that subsequently. Elsewhere, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has asked President Muhammadu Buhari and all state governors to instruct the police to protect and facilitate the rights of everyone to freedom of expression, assembly, and equal participation during the election campaigns, regardless of their party affiliation. SERAP, in a letter addressed to the president, says this will ensure the police is not used by state governors to target supporters of opposition parties and those holding differing political views. The rights group says there are concerns about the lack of a level playing field with reports and allegations of attack on supporters of different parties in some states of the Federation. SERAP maintains that protecting people's rights to hold rallies despite their political leaning will promote public confidence in the integrity of a democratic process. And as the administration of Dr. Kayode Fayemi winds down in Ekiti State, he's been given a recap of his administration in the last 4 years. But during a presentation to lawmakers at the State House of Assembly, Governor Fayemi says he will be leaving office without any abandoned project. He admits that paucity of funds may have hampered some plans and promises, but assures people of the state that the incoming government will continue with progressive ideals based on a template already set in place.
Structures in place to end the menace of project abandonment in Ekiti State. With the Ekiti State Transition Law 2019, we have made sure that even in cases where there is a change of baton from one political party to another, succeeding administrations would have enduring templates that ensure seamless continuity of the vision, the completion of projects, and the upholding of commitments validly entered into. And to entrench that transition law and derive a pathway for our people, we crafted a 30-year State Development Plan 2021 to 2050. We implemented a number of successful public-private partnerships projects, having discovered that in a lot of cases, government really does not have any business in business. And we have put in place these partnerships, such as the Eco-Dairy Farm, now being run by Comasido Limited, and the Irebon Brick Factory, which has been revamped and is now being run by another competent core investor operator, among others. We have also established a special agriculture processing zone of 40,000 hectares for agricultural value chain with focus on production, processing, sales, marketing, branding, and warehousing that will support the exportation of agro products. This program is targeted at rice, cassava, dairy, cocoa, cashew, and maize processing.
In part two, after the break, supporters of the All Progressives Congress hold a solidarity rally in Lagos to drum up support for the party's presidential candidate Bola Tinubu and Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's second-term bid. Plus, an update on efforts by security agencies to curb oil theft in the Niger Delta with our senior correspondent, Olu Phillips. That's in a moment. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Governor Yaya Bello of Kogi State seeks federal government intervention as flood continues to ravage at least 9 local government areas of the state. In Nasarawa, Governor Abdullahi Sule visits 4 local government areas where farmlands have been submerged and thousands of residents displaced from the ravaging flood. Ex-militant leader Government Ekpemopolo, popularly known as Tompolo, says 58 illegal oil blocks have so far been discovered following the joint efforts between security agents and other stakeholders in the Niger Delta region. And Russian President Vladimir Putin accuses Ukraine of terrorism for attacking the Russian-annexed Crimea bridge. Let's now bring you more on our series of reports on crude oil theft in the country. The Afremo, which is a platform in an offshore oil installation belonging to Shell Petroleum Development Company, has allegedly been identified as one of the stolen crude division facility used by vandals. Our senior correspondent, Olu Phillips, brings us the details in this report.
Whether through the legitimate oil sale by the federal government and now the outrageous and audacious stealing and refining, Nigeria's sweet crude is having a sore commentary in recent times. Stories now abound in public domain following our reports on the extent of theft and consequences seen in the sharp drop of production numbers for one of OPEC's significant members. Earlier, Channels Television brought you exclusive pictures, the first by any media station in Nigeria, of one of the suspected stealing points. That offshore platform is known as the Afremo A platform offshore Escravos and is owned by Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria. So this oil platform has 3 main pipelines traveling from here all the way to Escravos, and it is buried under the sea and through this swamp. This is what happens. There are 3 lines here. This is the test line, and that's the line they have decided to use. So it tells you that this is very active. If you look at this line, you see that it's not active. Everything around here is dried. The same with that other one. You can see the screws, the nuts are all dried up. But if you see this place, it raises suspicion. Now, whenever they're ready to siphon oil, they remove this, tighten it all back. It tells you, look at this, it tells you that this is active. This is very active. I mean, it's not well screwed and all of that. So it tells you they do this regularly. They open this valve. Of course, this travels all the way into onshore. So it goes all the way whenever they are ready. You can see that there's nothing connected to this exit point. It's a test line. It is not supposed to be an active line, but look at this. This tells you there's been a fresh onslaught, there's been fresh discharge from this point. This is crude, not engine oil, not any other thing. This is crude. So they connect a hose to this place and run it to a vessel, a flatbed vessel, not the very big ones, a flatbed vessel that can take between like 4 or 5 tons to about 6 tons because of the draft of this side of the water. And so how do you know that this is an active platform? Because if it wasn't, look at this place. Look at this. Look at this. The same point. This is active crude. If this wasn't active, then this crude shouldn't be here. Look at it. This is crude oil. It should be sealed up like this, or sealed up like this, covered. But see, so where is the cover of this pipe is the question. We asked Shell's representative what they knew of this connection, or why, despite their claimed surveillance apparatus, didn't capture this.
We did not know of this thing until when our guys discovered it when they're doing ground control.
When was that?
That was on the 1st of this month of October.
Just 1 month ago.
Yes.
One week, just 1 week ago.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Let's go to the next one.
Interesting. Interesting. 1 week ago. Given the number of years this might have gone on, the quantity stolen will fall in the region of millions. It was a daring undertaking to follow the crude line to this 2.5 miles location using boats, but an effort worth the risk. No one expects the scale of investigation to be meager. What will be interesting and deterring will be the sheer number of persons who may be involved in these years of suspected racket and how they will be prosecuted, especially how retribution will be made to the country Nigeria. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
Well, our senior correspondent, Olu Phillips, is not done just yet. Let's now speak with him as he joins us live from the Niger Delta region for more of his reporting on demystifying crude oil theft in the nation. Olu, good evening. Clearly an experience for you. Can you just help us understand? I mean, having been with the team trying to get to the root of this, it's an experience of a lifetime. Some would even say it's a reporter's delight just to get to the root of this. Behind the scenes, what more can you tell us about what you've discovered?
Well, the truth is that for lack of better words, we are in a dire strait as far as our industry is concerned. The numbers of production are down, and the JV partners know this. I hope this is not the reason why a lot of them are divesting and leaving this country. At the back end here in the community, we've had a lot of tremendous support from the local community people and the security agencies. We have very strong support also from the Nigerian military, as dispatched by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Leo. We've also had support from the private security, the Tantita security guys, who have been helping us with our movement and our moves so that these things are done in the way they can be done so that we can get the kind of results or show the kind of things that we're showing. But the situation out there in the Niger Delta is terrible. The environment is devastated, terribly devastated, and I do not see any line of sight in terms of how remediation can be done to that community that is so oil-rich, yet abject poverty actually rules in this area. I spoke to one woman while we crisscrossed the creeks, and she said she was almost down, she was almost in tears, and said, listen, we can't even catch fishes anymore. The least they can get is crawfish, which they have to set all sorts of trap to be able to get. And the young men, and so this is it. I mean, some of the people also, community people who have not known any other life apart from the creek life, and who see more, things like this on TV and see modern life on TV, wonder if also they belong to this country. I'm not a government official, and this is one area I think government officials need to look into. The community also needs a lot of attention, and you also need to remove the appetite to want to continue this, even though what we have also seen at the community level is a low-scale level. The more that we've seen, or what we have seen in terms of large scale, has been largely those that are being taken out of the country through the offshore. The community are like the scapegoats, as it were. They are the artisans. They do very little marginal numbers, 1,500, 200 barrels here and there. But we've seen that the large scale of crude that is being stolen out of this country leads through the offshore. And you know that the coastlines of this country needs also serious attention in terms of policing. These are some of the things we've seen in that region.
Well, Olu, speaking of that, earlier on we heard ex-militant leader Tompolo speaking about 58 illegal oil blocks that have been discovered so far during this operation. That's huge, just thinking about the magnitude of that. With all of these discoveries, these activities, do you think it will yield positive results at the end of the day?
I think one of the smartest moves that the government had made, and as anchored on the instrumentality of the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, led by the GCO Mele Kyari, is the audacious move to involve the locals in trying to get this. So the truth is this is an aquatic area. It's not your usual land area where you understand. So even if you're a trained security operative, you will still need local intelligence to maneuver the creeks and the mangroves and the swamp. We know what we have seen maneuvering through this with the locals. So one of the smartest moves the federal government had done is to engage private security outfits like the ones that popularly said that the High Chief Epamopolo has interest in. So what that has done also is that these guys have been able to identify. I think everybody has come to a dire strait where they have said to themselves, listen, our environment is the one that is destroyed. We need to begin to name and shame those who do this. You talk about 58 today. Kayode, I can tell you this for sure, and can tell Nigerians for sure, more and more humongous discoveries will be made as we enter this week. It's the legs are on the pedals, and you will see more discoveries. I'm in the know of a major discovery that is in the works right now that should be a big headline tomorrow on the news or this week. And this is also now involving the NNPC Limited, also showing some kind of strong resolve to make sure that the barrels return and the environment is remediated. So I think there's a tripartite or tripod kind of approach to this. The community is willing. The journalists, as represented by myself and my team, and the management of Channels Television and the military, of course, the federal government, seem to want to see this come up back. We are shamelessly doing, for lack of a better word, we've done less than 1 million. We can't even meet our OPEC quota. So we need to get the barrels back. We need to earn. I tell you something, for a line like Escravos line or the Bonny Terminal, for instance, that has been shut since about February this year. That terminal alone does close to about 300,000 barrels a day. So what that tells you is that if it produces about, if the lines are fired on and it produces about 250, in about 1 week you have more than a million barrels of oil. Right. What that tells you is that if you multiply that by $100 crude price today, in 1 week, that's one cargo, that's $100 million. We need all the monies we can get, and right. I think the government knows that this is the way to go.
Well, our senior correspondent, Olu Phillips, giving us an update on his findings on the scourge of oil theft in the Niger Delta region. Thank you so much for your reportage. We'll definitely be expecting more from you.
Thank you very much.
Well, to politics now. Supporters of the All Progressives Congress, APC in Lagos, today trooped out in their numbers for a solidarity rally in support of the party's presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu, as well as the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who is seeking a second term in office. The rally, which was organized by chairman of the Lagos State Parks and Garages Management Committee, Musiliu Akinsoya, popularly known as MC Oluomo, kicked off from the Teslim Balogun Stadium and terminated at the Oshodi area of Lagos. The state chairman of the party, Cornelius Ojelabi, applauded the party faithful for their loyalty to the party and assures them of more infrastructure from the state and federal level if their candidates take the seat.
Supporters of the All Progressives Congress and their numbers kick off the rally for the party's presidential candidate Bola Tinubu, his running mate Kashim Shettima, and the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu from the Teslim Balogun Stadium in Surulere, causing slow vehicular movement on the highway. Tagged the 5 million solidarity walk, the party faithful are all geared up for the day's rally organized by the chairman of Lagos State Parks and Garages Management Committee, Mr. Musuliu Akinsonya, popularly known as MC Oluomo.
2023, inshallah, both Sanwo-Olu, Asiwaju, and all candidates of APC, all local government.
They continue their movement all the way from Barracks to Fadei, Onipan, Palm Grove, chanting their support for their candidate, even as security operatives move with them to ensure there is no breakdown of law and order.
Listen to me. If you love Asiwaju, she feel that's okay. She feel that's okay. If you love Enugu, run.
The Solidarity Walk terminates at Bolade Oshodi, where the road was completely locked down by Nollywood stars Saheed Balogun, Ebun Oloyede, Bimbo Akintola, Foluke Daramola, Bimbo Akinsonya, Jide Kosoko, Damola Olatunji, as well as popular musicians and youth. Their message is the same: to show the world they are solidly behind the candidacy of Tinubu and Sanwo-Olu.
We believe in leadership skills. We believe in his intelligence. We want a man that knows the problem of Nigeria, that knows where we are going. We want Sanwo-Olu one more time. The time is now for you to stand by your votes. A matter of votes, you don't sell your votes. Let's change Nigeria now. With our full chest, we will support our candidates. Sanwo-Olu Lekosi, but 2023 by his grace.
The state APC chairman appreciates the people for coming out in their thousands to support the party.
Let us use our vote to banish poverty. Let us use our vote to remove that insecurity in our land. Let us use our vote to grow our economy.
As the general election draws closer, more political rallies are expected on the streets of Lagos as party faithful demonstrate their support for their preferred candidates.
Former Governor of Plateau State, Senator Joshua Daria, says his conviction on corruption charges filed by the EFCC was politically motivated. Senator Daria, who was speaking with Channels Television's Ladia Kirido rally on our current affairs program Newsnight after his release from prison following a presidential pardon, says that even though he has accepted the experience as well as the lessons from the incident, he claims to be the victim of politically powerful forces bent on truncating his career. He also denies joining the ruling APC to shield himself from prosecution.
I have my conviction. I wanted to go where Plateau people fell. You remember la law a march and so Plateau project. I would have remained in isolation. I moved where the wind blows, where my people are. That is, I have been in that state for long. I've led the state for 4 years, 8 years. I've been their senator again. So if that is why Plateau people are, I would rightly have belonged there. You know, my issue was political in the sense that the same charges was taken to Kaduna Federal High Court. Justice Liman dismissed that case. They were not happy. They carried the same document to the Plateau State House of Assembly, not anything changed. And the whole amount we are talking about is 1.1 billion. 800 million went to Plateau State account, 100 million went to PDP Southwest, 100 million went to Ogun Dam campaign organization, 80 million went to ecological fund, and then 60 million or 6 million went to PDP Plateau State of 274 wards. Every ward got about 200,000 naira. What was missing, the balancing figure is 4 million, which is commission on turnover. And the judge asked, if Mr. Daria wanted to convert money to his personal use, will he use his head and write the bank? Please distribute as follows. I'm a chartered accountant, my brother, and I wouldn't have been that foolish. If I wanted to steal, I would have lumped the money in commission on turnover, and that never happened. But because it was politically motivated, they didn't succeed in the state of emergency. The court, the other vehicle of prosecution, EFC, became the only veritable tool. So they came to the House of Assembly, and when they faced courageous people, they couldn't succeed. They even brought Mr. Clark from London, and when they asked him, he ran away. So there was no sense of justice, but they were determined. They had a friendly court. where when they make pronouncement, I don't think there was any sense of justice. But as I leave the rest to God. Time will tell. Time will tell. But if you look at the charges, the Supreme Court made pronouncement. All the other one, the financial misappropriation, were how will I call it? Were thrown away, were nullified. They only held me for one charge. They said misappropriation. That is the donation to PDP. So if that is the case, I take it as part of the cross of serving in a democracy. If that donation amount of criminal misappropriation, so be it. There are people who have done more damaging than that one. They are not in prison.
For the full interview with Senator Daria, do watch Newsnight tomorrow, Monday, October the 10th at 9 p.m. right here on Channels Television. Back to security. 2 persons, including a police officer, have been killed by gunmen during an attack on Enugu Police Divisional Headquarters in Oji River local government area of Enugu State, Nigeria's southeast. The gunmen, numbering about 6, were said to have stormed the police facility in 2 vehicles and opened fire on some police officers, killing one of them and a resident on the spot. The hoodlums also razed the facility, a 1-story building, after about an hour of shootings. The Enugu State Police Public Relations Officer, Daniel Ndukwe, who confirmed the attack, declined to comment on the killing of the officer and the unidentified resident in the attack. The latest incident comes barely 3 weeks after gunmen attacked a military checkpoint in Nkanu West local government area of the state, leaving 2 people dead. But to health matters, the surge in the use of herbal mixtures in the country may not be without its concerns. Issues of dosage, regulations, efficacy, and potential adverse reactions are often listed as some of the concerns arising from the use of herbal medicine. But those who have studied and picked a strong interest in this branch of medicine have argued that these areas of concerns are gradually fading away. In the special report, our correspondent Daria examines the current practice and efforts by regulators to ensure safety and efficacy.
Whether in the form of tablets, capsule, powder, or liquid, use of herbal products and natural therapies are growing, and the market is even projected to hit $347 billion by 2029. Turmeric, ginger, garlic, fruits, and other natural organic products are the common ingredients. But despite the widespread use of herbal medicinal products, the question of efficacy, safety, and possible side effects continue to come up, especially from practitioners in the mainstream medicine. Adebukola Adefule Oshitelu, a professor of ophthalmology and chairman of Lagos State Traditional Medicine Board, practices both orthodox and traditional medicine. She says as far as regulation is concerned, Lagos is tightening the loose ends.
Colonization has affected the perception of the average Nigerian. They think it is fetish. It is not fetish. These herb sellers, we call them dispensers. By the end of this year, you won't see one herb seller hawking in Lagos State because it's against the law. And in their associations, they have people who prepare these things and then send them out. Then the association will now be able to get all of them, almost all of them, and mandatorily they come for training at the board. Once they are trained, hygiene, how to prepare them, the measurements, those who are selling the ingredients, they are also, most of them in the markets, they too are now being trained.
Risikat Mudashiru is one of them. She sells and prepares herbal products at the new market in Agege, a business handed down to her and her siblings by their parents. Trained by her parents, Risikat earns a living for preparing herbs for those who consult her. Mostly for ailments like malaria, typhoid, pneumonia, diarrhea, ulcer, and other common ailments. The concern of loose regulation also hovers around herbal supplements and alcoholic bitters. Littering shops and kiosks can fast becoming the drink of choice for many. Many of these herbal products are also listed on global e-commerce sites, from supplement, immune boosters to aphrodisiacs. They're promising a lot, but according to the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration, NAFDAC, there are so many of them that are unsafe for use and have not been registered.
Most herbal practitioners do not lace their products with unapproved dangerous substances. Please do not walk out to think that herbal medicines are bad. Almost all the products that we registered are safe. Problem is unregistered products, and their aim is not to protect the health of our people. That is why they are not registered.
So was this taken in as a treatment for COVID at any
Yes.
point? And it was accepted by NAFDAC?
Yes, you can see
Yes,
everything.
So was this administered at any point?
I told you we did. Hospitals, the government will not allow us to go to the hospitals, but the patients we saw outside, we treated them.
As the use of herbal medicinal products continue to grow and many more new products are introduced into the market, health experts are emphasizing the importance of proper dosage, understanding potential side effects, and wants people to watch out for reaction when taking any medication. Daria, Channels Television News.
Well, in Yobe State, as part of efforts towards improving health data to curb the outbreak of diseases, the Yobe State University, in partnership with Max Planck Institute in Germany, has commenced the training of a second batch of 48 health personnel on biomedical research. The Chief Medical Director of the State University of Teaching Hospital in Damaturu, Dr. Goniwaru, explains that the training is also to support the first set of clinical students of the College of Medical Sciences of the State University.
Yobe is one of the states with health deficiency due to its difficult terrain and inaccurate data resulting in the death of patients before reaching the nearest health facility. To mitigate the challenge, the state government had over the years trained medical doctors both within and outside the country, in addition to a well-established College of Medical Sciences at its state university in its quest to get more personnel.
In the last 5 years or so, the College of Medical Sciences has been established at the Yobe State University, the first set of clinical students are expected to cross over to the clinical site very soon. The state government has also sent over 45 resident doctors for supernumerary training at various institutions within Nigeria and also overseas, that will come and give that will come and render services as well as train other doctors both at the undergraduate and postgraduate level.
As the first set of medical students cross over to the teaching hospital, the government is partnering Max Planck Institute in Germany to conduct biomedical research training for 48 professionals in the state.
This is actually quite important, looking at the effort that the state government have already put in place in the hospital. We all know the facilities that are in there, and of course the facilities that are there, if you just leave them there without the healthcare professionals having the technical know-how and having the data that they can be able to make informed decision, for which the government can be able to make policy statement, policies that can stand the health of that. Of course, you need to have a training and retraining of the healthcare professionals.
I think that they're a great infrastructure in terms of the building, and in terms of BioRTC, the Biomedical Research and Training Center, we actually have a self-sustainable power system that's run on solar energy. So this is not even dependent on the university generator, and this level of infrastructure, I think, could be expanded too, because it creates more independence from off the power grid.
Although the state had over the years been working hard through the establishment of one of the largest child and maternal centers in northern Nigeria, as well as the construction of primary health centers in each of the 178 political wards of the state, this new initiative is aimed at improving healthcare delivery in the state.
Over 2 million tablets of tramadol weighing about 2,300 kilograms with a street value of 1.4 billion naira has been intercepted by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. Following credible intelligence, the agency says it took note of a consignment of 52 cartons that came into Nigeria from Karachi, Pakistan. Soon after its arrival at the Lagos airport, the NDLEA and other stakeholders jointly examined the package, which confirmed their suspicion. The latest seizure comes a week after about 13.5 million pills of same opioid worth over 8.8 billion naira were recovered by NDLEA operatives from one of the mansions of a billionaire in Victoria Garden City, Lekki, Lagos. Meanwhile, after almost a year after his arrest by NDLEA, a notorious drug dealer in Alabo Rago area of Ojo, Lagos, has been convicted and sentenced to 7 years imprisonment by a federal high court in Lagos. Well, staying in Lagos, a shop on the top floor of a 4-story building was gutted by fire on Martin Street, Balogun Market area of Lagos Island in the early hours of today. Director General of LASEMA, Olufemi Osanyitolu, explains that the agencies responded in collaboration with Federal Fire Service, Lagos State Fire Service, and UBA Fire Services responded early to put out the fire and prevent its spread to nearby buildings. Some residents of the area, however, said the fire was caused by electrical fault.
It's a negligence, nothing more than negligence. The house is stock of petrochemicals materials. They are selling textiles, petrochemical materials that can fuel the fire at any time. That's because it's negligence. We learned that they brought weather to come and weld the iron together. As a result, where they plug the wire into the socket got burnt. And out of the negligence, they want to do such a thing. They didn't provide fire extinguisher. The trauma effect on a lot of traders is enormous. The laws, financial loss, is so gigantic. See, people supposed to be at the rest at the house now. The people are panicking. They come to the market to come and rescue their salvage, their whatever they can salvage. So we are appealing to the government to come to the aid. Out of your negligence, you are affecting the lives of millions of people. Government should do something about it drastically.
And now to the arts. 2 Brothers and One Lumber is a virtual exhibition at the Kokopelli Gallery in Lagos. The group show marries art with technology, giving the viewers a glimpse of what the future holds. And we'll see it on Art Review tonight.
The Kokopelli Art Gallery, Lagos, is the venue for this barcode exhibition, a breath of fresh air compared to what the audience is used to. But make no mistakes about it, it's more than just the framed black and white images in 2 Brothers and One Lumber.
We're just asking questions, challenging structures, socio-political structures, and basically all the 30 works that have been exhibited are telling stories of Nigerian socio-political structures and history, challenging situations and all of that. And we had 10 artists on this show, and all of them were able to tell those stories through each medium.
When a camera is placed on these images, it takes the viewer to a home page and gives them details about the work of art in focus.
The idea of the QR code is basically digitally driven with the digital technology that drives art in its space from the NFT space. We're in the digital world where everyone is always looking at their phones. Everybody is any little thing, everybody's on their phone. In the traffic, you're on your phone. Even in a meeting, you're on your phone. Board meeting, you're on your phone. Everything is all that way. So the best way is to get the same people into an art gallery. Instead of staring at the wall, looking at the painting, they can now scan it and back on their phone, checking it and reading the ideas behind it and reading the title, and they can easily by that just click and buy.
It's new, it's fresh, but comes with its plus and minus.
I feel like the exhibition is very creative, like more creative than creative itself. It's really amazing. It's refreshing. Like it gives a new breath of fresh air to like exhibition itself. You know, the fact that we have to hold up our phones and then you can see the artwork on your phone is an amazing and intelligent, you know, way of thinking forward. You know, everybody can, you know, have access just on their phone. It's really nice. I really like it.
So basically, it's moving everyone to another realm where once again art and technology are intertwined to create a memorable digital experience.
And now to the foreign scene, where Russian President Vladimir Putin has accused Ukraine of attacking the bridge to Russian-annexed Crimea, saying that it was an act of terrorism. President Putin said Ukraine's intelligence forces had aims to destroy a critically important piece of Russia's civil infrastructure. He was speaking at a meeting with the head of the Investigative Committee of Russia, Alexander Bastrykin, and officials say 3 people were killed in the blast on the bridge. Meanwhile, Ukraine's defense ministry says over 17 people killed by Russian missile strikes on the southeastern city of Zaporizhzhia. Dozens more were wounded and several residential buildings destroyed. Sports news now. Segun Adekoya has emerged the winner in the maiden edition of the Arise Golf Tournament, finishing top in the men's net category. The Arise Golf Tournament is an initiative by the founder and CEO of Arise Women, Pastor Shiju Iluyomade, to encourage healthy living, just like its yearly Arise Walk for Life.
Arise is expanding its sporting activities to golf this year, and the maiden edition of Arise Golf Tournament is already being well embraced as over 100 golfers take to the golf course of the Kogi Club 1938 to be part of the initiative. It afforded golfers the opportunity to take time off their busy schedule for some exercise. Also not left out of the fun is the founder and CEO of Arise Women, Pastor Shiju Iluyomade, and her husband, Pastor Iluyomade.
Over the years, Arise has continued to break boundaries. You know, we have the Walk for Life every year. We had a little tournament last year as well, and this year we have so many other things planned. You know, the golf tournament was one that at first surprised us, but at the same time, the amount of people that showed up today has been fantastic. Old and young, men, women of all kinds. I think what Arise does is to include everybody.
I mean, personally, my expectations have been exceeded. You know, golfers have turned out in large numbers. They have embraced the whole concept of Arise. Of course, the convener, she's a well-known person. She's been fighting for women emancipation. She's been doing a lot of charity work in the community, so she's well-known. So a lot of golfers are coming around to support our initiative in terms of expanding the scope of Arise to golf now.
After a tedious day at the golf course, the atmosphere is different. It's a ceremony to celebrate success and reward winners in the various categories of the tournament.
With the success of this maiden edition, you can see the future is so bright. And maybe, who knows, they will be calling all our golfers all over the world, to Scotland, to Dubai, to everywhere. And one thing about golf that it does is that it brings friendship, it brings business connections, it builds a lot of other things that you can miss if you don't play a sport.
2022 tournament is done and dusted. But for Arise, it's forward ever and backward never. The Arise Golf Tournament has come to stay.
Also football now. MPFL champions Rivers United this evening beat Morocco's Wydad Casablanca 2-1 in the first leg of their CAF Champions League first round in Port Harcourt and are just one game from booking a spot in the group stage. At the Moshood Abiola Stadium in Abuja, Plateau United also rallied back to beat Tunisian club Esperance 2-1. The reverse fixtures will take place next weekend. In the CAF Confederation Cup, Kwara United put up a spirited display, coming from a goal down to beat defending champions RS Berkane of Morocco in the first round, first leg at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena in Lagos. Well, more results. Bukayo Saka's double sent Arsenal back to the top of the Premier League after a 3-2 win over Liverpool earlier today that further dented the Reds' title aspirations. The Gunners led 3 times at the Emirates as Gabriel Martinelli struck within a minute and Saka scored in the first half stoppage time. Earlier, Gianluca Scamacca's delightful chip helped West Ham strike back from a goal down to beat Fulham 3-1. Crystal Palace also came from behind to beat Leeds United 2-1 at the Selhurst Park. And the main news again. Earlier today, Governor Yaya Bello of Kogi State asked for an intervention by the federal government as flood continues to ravage at least 9 local government areas of the state. Well, that's been the news at 10 for tonight, everyone. Thank you for watching. I'm Kayode Okikulu. Good night.